Hi, I'm Gail Rubin, the Doyenne of Death, with today's Mortality Minute. A Beginner's Guide to the End by B.J. Miller and Shoshana Berger is one of our newer entries in the Death Education book series that is out in the public. Now, I wrote A Good Goodbye, Funeral Planning for Those Who Don't Plan to Die 10 years ago. And a lot of that information is in this book. This is a wonderful guide, and I highly recommend it. The subtitle is A Practical Advice for Living Life and Facing Death. Now, one of those practical items is the chapter Love, Sex, and Relationships, talking to your doctor about death and sex. Who would have thought that would be in a book along those lines? However, at the end of this chapter, the bottom line, they have these summations at the end of each chapter. Love, sex, and relationships, they write, forever may be shorter than you thought, but urgency has its gifts. If illness and imminent death gives us anything, and they most certainly do, it is vulnerability and the intimacy that wants to follow. Closeness can come from surprising sources and can be achieved in ways you might not have considered before now. Wow, that is really practical, good advice. It also touches on topics like hospice and palliative care. Not everybody knows what that means. And the book has illustrations throughout, and this one shows how hospice is a subset of palliative care. And wonderful definitions. Palliative care is patient and family-centered, and that optimizes the quality of life and treats suffering. It is for anyone at any stage of a serious illness, whatever the prognosis, and it's intended to be delivered concurrently alongside other treatments. Hospice care is designed to treat physical, emotional, and spiritual discomfort for patients with a life expectancy of 6 months or less. In other words, hospice is a subset. It's a kind of palliative care, but it's designed explicitly for those in the last stages of life. They also have these great boxes for caregivers, which highlight tips that are addressed specifically to someone who might be caring for someone who is facing end of life. And in this particular one, it's about when the patient stops eating. And we all want to care for our loved ones by feeding them, right? Of course. So this tip for the caregivers helps illustrate the idea that it's okay if someone is nearing death, don't force them to eat, don't necessarily tube feed them, because it's the body's natural process of shutting down. There's other chapters, hospital hacks. Think about this. If somebody's dying and you call 911 or you want to take them to the hospital, they may not admit that person to the hospital because they don't want a death on their record. What to pack when you go to the hospital, what to ask for to get what you need. Finding your person within the medical system who can work with you and your patient. And dealing with the intensive care unit, which is intense. And also this chapter, the first 24 hours after death. What do you do in those first 24 hours? Very helpful, practical information. There's also a chapter about how to talk to kids. And there's a beautiful little drawing here with all these animals having a funeral, and everyone dies in the drawing. But how to talk to kids and answer 8 common questions that young people have. Now, my next video in our Mortality Minute book series will be questions from kids, the highly anticipated Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Caitlin Doty. This is going to be a lot of fun to review. So we'll get to that one next time. So if you like this video, give it a like, thumbs up. If you would like to hear book reviews of other death-related books, please write it in the comments, and please do subscribe to this channel. I'm Gail Rubin, the Doyenne of Death, reminding you that just like talking about sex won't make you pregnant, talking about funerals and end-of-life issues won't make you dead. Start a conversation today.